Okay, everybody, have 9 o'clock. We'll call the meeting to order if we could, please. First order of business would be the minutes. We actually have two sets of minutes, one from the special session on June the 14th and the other on June the 7th. Those were mailed. I did not find any changes. We usually scan those pretty close. Anybody else find any changes or corrections to the minutes? Otherwise, entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion to approve.
That's both sets, Jeff?
Yes, they is.
Okay, second to the motion?
I'll second.
Second by Gary. All approved, say aye.
Aye.
Disapprove? And motion will carry. Next would be your bills list, additional bills and transfers. Be glad to try to answer any questions. On your additional bills list, I believe it was the major payment to the for the AOC building, the Administrative Office of the Courts, the Justice Center property. That's an annual payment, I believe, Rhonda?
Oh, on the transfer, yeah.
On the payment, on the bonds for the Justice Center.
Yeah, that happens outside of my hands. So
Yeah.
You just have to kind of go through the bank, money in, money out,
Yeah.
town and country.
Got one more year left on that, I believe the state does.
Two more payments.
We're actually just facilitators of that loan.
It's like a pass through.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion pass the bills and transfers.
Thank you, Eric. Is there a second to that motion? Second by Bernard. All approved, say aye.
Aye.
Disapprove? And motion will carry. Okay, next item, we're going to pass on the memorandum of agreement. At this point, there's some language that we need to deal with North Nelson and the city to make sure that we're covering ourselves for the long term. There's no fire has to be put out on this, guys. And the mayor and Nikki Rapier both agreed that we should probably change some language in it. The attorneys drafted this, but there's some things we want to cover that should be covered for the next, because this project will linger into the next administration.
Which attorneys?
Damon Talley, the attorney for the North Nelson Water District and attorney for the city. It wasn't our attorney, no.
Try not to lawyer to death.
He knows how we like to, not the lawyer to death. Then we have some visitors today with us in regards to the Veterans Park that we've discussed. You guys know where that property is. Jerry James, I believe you're the spokesman for the group.
Yes.
Is that true? You want to pass out some information to the
Yes,
court,
I have.
please? What's your step here, Jerry?
Don't let me trip you up. I have a copy of the design, preliminary design, also a copy of the mission statement, a copy of the logo, and so I'll just pass those out.
Here, hand me one of those, Gary, please. Thank you. You've got a professional architect or engineer, CMW.
Brad Boas with CMW Engineering out of Lexington, Kentucky. Happens to be, he did a lot of the work on the Hardin County Veterans Park there.
Okay.
So we had talked to some of those people over our committee and so forth, and we talked to him, and so anyway, we have entered into a contractual agreement with him.
Okay.
And he is working with us, and that is a preliminary design. There will be changes there. We'll meet this week and we'll make some changes. You'll see that we have a representation of all branches of service and the different monuments and so forth. So
In the area, I guess the areas that are kind of brownish shade, like tan shade.
those are monuments.
Oh, yeah, but like these right here, the spaces here, is that
That's
green
open
space?
That's green space.
Grass, okay.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. Here's our letter of solicitation. Did everybody get a copy of the logo?
I didn't get a copy. Really good logo.
Here's the letter.
You go, Bernard.
Let me have one of those, please. This one, the files.
Yeah. You didn't get this one?
We did, we did. Let's see, I think we did. And now, I don't want to labor you guys with too much paperwork here, but you kind of need to know what we're doing here, where we're going.
Now, where will that logo go?
It'll go on, here's our letter of solicitation, it goes on ahead there, and it'll go on anything that we have anything to do with, meaning
Mail out, mailers and so forth.
after we sign the lease today, hopefully, Judge, then we'll put a sign of future.
We're going to wait on the sign of the lease. We've got a couple of language I just discussed with you a few minutes ago.
Right.
To change the utilities. The reason I wanted the court to hear about this today, I want to talk about the term. That's a big thing, the term of the lease. The term as proposed would be initially for a 10-year period, then with 4 10-year options, which basically makes it a 50-year deal. I don't think going any further than that would serve any purpose. You guys have any comments on that?
Well, I had conveyed to my committee that it was a 99-year lease, but 50 years is,
It'd be-
I guess, a couple of my committee members are here today, I guess that we can let somebody else worry about it at that point.
I have one little concern if it's 10-year leases and another fiscal court company and they may not renew those leases. So you may want to make those leases a little bit longer.
It's up to the court. That's the reason I presented it to you guys.
Yeah, we would really rather have a 99-year lease.
99 is just.
Then I know we wouldn't have to worry about it, would we, Joe?
Well,
I'd say,
but the only thing I think is, we've got a Veterans Park now, and you're going to be moving, or doing a new Veterans Park out here. Things do change in life. And having that option of both parties being able to change, it doesn't matter to me either way, other than trying to protect the taxpayers and then make sure you guys accomplish your goals. And 50 years is a long time.
It's a long time. It'll take care of most of us, I think.
I think it'd take care of just about anybody
But
sitting on this court right
my
here.
point is 50 years is fine, but if you have 10-year increments, then another fiscal court can come in and say, no, we don't want it, and get rid of it.
Well, that can happen with a lot of stuff.
Well, not if you have a 50-year.
There are some state statutes, or not statutes, but Attorney General's opinion, I believe Matthew can verify this down the road if we need to, that says one court cannot bind another court with certain contracts.
Yeah, that is correct.
With a lease also?
I'd want to look to see how it applies to leases versus.
Yeah. But so what the term of it, I think, is, to me, almost irrelevant, if another court can change it no matter what, Jerry. That's what I'm trying to say. Like the old library, I'll release it to the FABS group.
Right.
We have a current lease with them. The next court can change that. But I don't foresee, a Veterans Park is going to be a little bit different than a commercial piece of real estate.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
what elected official wants to upset the veterans? They're not a very good politician if they do that. Let me just tell you that.
Yeah.
If it's okay with you, I'd rather for him to check, Matthew to check
Oh, yeah,
on the
yeah,
lease.
yeah, that's fine.
If it will carry over to the next fiscal court.
Well, it will carry over, and it will.
But can they break that lease? That's what I'd like to know.
Okay.
That way we can get more years if.
Okay, I'm not
I'd be in
opposed to
favor
that.
of making more years.
Okay, that's fine. That's,
I'm open for, I'm just trying to help the group that's looking for a place to
Yeah.
honor the vets.
Okay, if any of you have any questions on any of the material that I passed out there as far as the preliminary design, the logo, that logo would go on our sign when we put a sign up for future, after we sign the lease for future site of the Bardstown-Nelson County.
Is this gonna be green space here?
Yes,
Jerry?
middle.
All this color be like a green space?
Yes, this is trees,
Okay.
this would be monuments here, and this would represent all branches of service. Then you'd have the flags there too, that would also represent all branches of service, plus the local flags, the American flag.
It looks
And
great.
then we've got a pavilion here on the corner there that I know that you all had some question about. Initially it's 30 by 60, but it's on that corner there, and as far as the sight distance from the highway, it does not block the view of the Justice Center. So we feel that's adequate there.
And the trees are probably going to
It
block
looks
it more
good.
than.
It looks really
than-
good.
Yes, yeah.
In fact, they're scheduled to be trimmed this fall from the.
The wall along East Stephen Foster on the outside wall, what's it gonna look like?
Well, it would not be any higher than 4 foot,
Okay.
and we are still critiquing that. We have not, made a final decision on that. The reason for that is that, you have the footstones with inscription of veterans' names on it, and we felt if you had the wall, it's a little bit easier to read, particularly for older people. They can stand and see the names and read the names on the wall, short wall. So that's the reason for that. And we may move that to the back part of it. And we're probably going to move the stage up a little bit too. But all that open area there you see is grassy open area.
I think on the wall next to Stephen Foster, you talk about moving the wall and the flags, or just the wall?
But possibly.
I think the flags look better next to the highway. where
Well,
people can
that,
see 'em.
I think that was suggested and
Yeah.
recommended. People driving by,
Yeah.
they would see it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we've got to finalize it. We're going to make some changes, and before we finalize it, we'll bring it back to the court and let you all look at it and approve it also. So,
Magistrates in the lease, I have provided, as I said, that we will continue to pay for the utility service. Basically, all you're going to have is lights, and we're paying for those already anyway. And the mowing, we're paying for the mowing already anyway, so there's no use of changing what we do on our end as well, but it's kind of supporting their project as well. And if you remember, in the budget we approve, we also have some money in there to approve up to $50,000 match from whatever they raise for this coming fiscal year.
Outstanding.
So we'll make that change, and we'll get back to you guys, magistrates, on it, Jerry.
Okay.
And it will be, they will authorize me to sign it probably more than likely in the next meeting or so.
okay, that'll be fine. I would like to take this opportunity on behalf of our committee. We have an 18-member committee, and I think all the veterans in Nelson County, I think I can speak for all of them, that we certainly appreciate your support and cooperation with us in building this park. We just want to let you know that. And as we go along, we'll certainly pass that word too. So thank you very much.
Magistrate Ice for years has been after me to put more landscaping and decorative on that front area to make it look nicer, so this is a good opportunity to do what he desires.
Right. Well, thank you all very much.
And when you put in landscaping, you just got to think about maintenance. And St. Joe Church is a prime example of that. They put a lot of beautiful landscaping in here in the last year or so, but the maintenance is every year, 3 or 4 times a year.
And our engineer has brought that subject up 2 or 3 times. He said,
You remember all they put around here in the city, around the square here?
Right.
Half of it got run over, 3/4 of it, the salt killed part of it. It's just a maintenance nightmare when you have to deal with it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jerry.
Okay, thank you all.
guys.
Okay.
Jerry, you have a copy of any of that for me?
Sure, I sure do. I'll give it to you.
That's great, thank you.
Okay, guys, got any questions? I'll get you a copy of that lease as soon as Matthew gives me a clean copy of it and answers Gary's question. The next is material bids for 2023.
Okay.
Okay.
So here's the list of what we bid out. We do this every year as far as asphalt pipe, rock, salt, motor fuel oils, road oils, which is, you know what road oils are, that's where we
I'm
do
good, Brad.
chip sealing. You'll notice a column on the left and a column on the right. Column on the right is what it was last year, column on the left is what it is this year. Biggest thing you guys are always interested in is asphalt. Basically, asphalt's gonna cost us $95 a ton placed this year. I mean, you include the cost of the material and the placement last year. When we bid it out, it was $75 a ton. Now, that is dictated by the cost of oil and fuel, so it has the right to go up and come back down. So that's where we're at starting today, $95 a ton. When you guys approved your list, I assumed it was going to be $85 a ton, because that's what we were paying at the time with the fuel adjustment. So that can be discussed another time. Salt went from $92 a ton last year to $127.86. So what I would need is a motion of you guys to approve these bids.
Any questions, guys, before we... But we don't have a lot of choice, to be honest with you. We got one salt bid, one. out of all the companies that we've annually been getting bids from, and because of demand, or supply and demand.
The pipe, it has doubled in
Yes.
price, exactly.
Yes.
Need a motion to approve. Thank you, Bernard. Motion's been made to approve the bids as presented today. Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second the motion.
Second by Eric. Any further discussion or questions? All approve, say aye.
Aye.
Disapprove? Motion carries. Thank you, Brad, for
Thank you, guys.
taking care of that for us. Brad assumed that job about 15 or 20 years ago.
All other duties assigned.
I used to do it, just to know the next judge, make sure you keep these kind of guys happy, you and Timmy, whoever's going to be the victor. Jail report. Buck?
As of this morning, we have 97 inmates, 35 are state, 62 are county, 45 are waiting for circuit court cases, 17 for district court cases, 78 are males, and 19 are females. And I'd like to thank the record for the work she done on getting $44,000 of grant money to fiscal court, doing paperwork and everything, getting that money to fiscal court.
Who was this now, Buck? Who was this?
Jessica.
Jessica? Thank you, Jessica.
Paperwork, got that fiscal $44,000.
What about the locks here? I gave the guys some lock replacements and repairs. We had received one proposal, it was like $46,000 or so. And we decided to make some repairs to some of the locks and then a couple of total replacements. So that total you're asking for the court is $15,646. Got any questions for Buck on that?
So you'll need some more after this, right, Buck?
Yeah.
He's coming in and replacing two, then he's gonna rebuild them, put them in the other side, then he's gonna rebuild them.
Repair 6, rebuild 6, yeah.
So you need a motion on it?
Motion to approve this is over my spending limit.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the lock replacement bid.
Thank you, Eric.
I'll second.
Second by Gary. Further discussion? All approve, say aye.
Aye.
Disapprove? And motion will carry. When about 2005, I had presented a court with a set of plans to, and we actually had CMW, I think, was the company that we had used to renovate the jail and add on some restricted custody cells on the backside. That was about a $2 million estimate. Some of this was part of that, so I'm going to try to incorporate some changes over the next at least 6 months. I'm sure the next judge would want to take that torch and run with it a little bit too. Continue to try to upgrade the jail, especially the safety features of the jail. Recreation report. You got moved up the ladder on the agenda. You can tell that I didn't finish this agenda myself. I sent it to Rhonda.
Well, baseball's finally wrapped up. Other than that, finally I talked to you, Dean, about the seal coating out of Bardstown. We ended up coming up with the hood seal coating at a bid of $28.70, and he's supposed to start this week.
Okay.
And as far as the fencing you talked about, I talked to Bear Creek, and I think we're gonna come up with something a little cheaper than fence.
Are you going with cable? Think maybe cable? Okay.
That's my plan anyway.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. EMS report.
Your monthly report for May was a very busy month for us. Responded to 752 calls. 194 of those were non-transport calls, lift assist and such. That's about 100 calls over last year. And as of now, for the fiscal year, we're at 6,922 calls responded to. That a big number for you?
Any questions for Joe? Thank you. Let's go to landfill solid waste report.
Just trying to take advantage of this hot, dry weather, get caught up on dirt and cover material, so trying to get a bunch of that hauled and stockpiled. Thanks Lee and Brad for sending a couple guys out to help.
that it?
That's it.
What about the next construction phase? When will we get the state permit?
It should be,
The stamp permit.
we have a meeting this week to meet with the state to check on that to see where they're at. So they have a window when they're supposed to be done. So we're a couple weeks out from that window to get our comments back. So that normally goes back a couple times. They have a few comments we respond back, so in the next couple months. So we're talking with them now to see, I guess with like material prices and long lead times. I think like the city has problems getting pipe and stuff like that, pump stations. So we're gonna have a discussion with the state to see if we can go on at least get like a we'll get like a preliminary approval so we can go on and start bidding and getting the materials
And
ready to
then,
go.
The best of my memory, that plastic liner
Yes.
comes out of Texas, I believe, or one of those. It took a long time to get that last time, so all that would be considered. Okay, road department report, Lee?
Okay, as you can see in the report I handed out, we've done a lot of tree trimming and spraying this past 2 weeks. We had 2 new guys who joined us within the last year. They went and got their pesticide license, and that's really helped us out as far as our flexibility of being able to spray, because honestly it's hard to mechanically remove all the vegetation that needs to be removed, so that spraying does help out a lot. During these heat advisory days, I've been having the guys haul some dirt, trying to keep them off the paver if I can during the extremely hot days. So we hauled some dirt at the soccer fields, Deanwatts Park, and we've been hauling dirt at the landfill. We replaced a culvert on Quarry Loop, so that road is now ready for paving. We passed some asphalt on Tom Greer Road. Today we're cleaning a ditch line on Hutchins Ridge Road. We had a complaint about water ponding on the road there. We'll also be clipping shoulders on Spencer Mattingly Lane. And our mowing crew is currently in District 5 in the Chaplin area. So we've completed Districts 3 and 4 the second round. So they're moving along pretty good.
Questions for anybody?
I have a comment. I had a constituent give me a call, I forgot what road it was, but said that they're doing an outstanding job clipping those trees. So appreciate their hard work on that.
Thank you.
Some like it, some don't.
That's true. This guy liked it. So he's doing an outstanding job.
We've had more complaints than compliments over the years.
So we need to emphasize the compliments.
Yeah.
It's important to clip them trees back for winter purposes to get the sun back on the roads to help with the salt and the snow and the ice. And water is the death of a road.
And now is the time to clip, because they'll have, some of it will kind of grow back just a little bit and not make it look like a war zone when you go down through the road. Next on the list is Bardstown-Bourbon Company IRBs. They still haven't determined the exact cost of their project yet to bring those back to you. I just want to give you a report on that. Matthew and I are working on that. Under old and new business, there's an appointment to the Northeast Nelson Fire District. Alex Kirsch for reappointment. Eric, in your district there for the fire district, he wants to be reappointed. The fire board wants him to be a board member, continue to be a board member. Need a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve Alex's board.
Thank you. Second. Any further discussion? All approved, say aye. Aye. Disapprove? Motion will carry. Brad, you want to report on the internet service grant that we talked about that yesterday?
Yes, so, you know, this is a long drawn out process, right? Anytime you deal with federal money and whatnot. So the city, you'll probably see there'll be an announcement that comes out. They did finally get their award through KIA. If you guys remember, we originally approved a list of 10 roads and 4 of them got challenged. So the roads that were approved in KIA, it's finally come down, the money, is the Whiteside Road, Hibbs Lane build, Ashes Creek build, Highway 1066 Hawk Ridge, Nat Rogers and Ice Road, Holy Cross, Jim Clark Road. That's only a portion of Jim Clark, not all of it.
Is that the north section?
Be the south section.
South section.
And Vitito Ford. So that is official, and we should see movement, a physical movement of that being constructed.
Now, we continue to work with the city and Spectrum and Windstream on additional projects and costs, and Dean knows that, and we continue to try to get to the best option there. I'll just leave it at that.
Can residents that live on those roads, is it advisable that they sign up for service now or just wait until they get the build done? Or do you know?
That's probably a city of Bardstown question. I would wait. I mean, I can't promise how quick they'll actually physically be out there.
Right.
I know that these have been designed and they're in the works.
And there's a lot of counties that there was 223 million or so distributed yesterday by the governor in their announcement. So there's probably going to be a limited amount of companies that will be stranded in this. That'll be probably working each of these counties in or cities in. So you don't know when it will actually take place. But the city's got a good relationship with a couple of those contractors. So that should help a lot.
Refresh my memory, there's 10 on that list, and they chose 6. How did they come up with those 6?
4 of them were challenged. They actually had 10. 4 were challenged. And what I mean challenged is, wait a minute, another company may say that's our service area, or we have funding through another source to actually provide internet to that area. And so when they challenge it, you immediately push pause, and they want to decide, well, what's the best way moving forward? You know, KIA is not going to give out money if it's funded federally, right?
Right.
And so the 4 that were challenged were Fairfield Road and Everett Hall, Roberts Road, Wimpton Schoolhouse, Jim Clark North, and Icetown Road. So I'm trying to work with Spectrum.
Okay, but the other of the 10 are okay to go?
Yes.
Yeah. And see, all this money originates from the feds. And it's passed down to the Kentucky Infrastructure Authority, KIA, at state level. And so when they've identified these 4 roads as, well, Spectrum's already got some federal grant money to do these areas, the 4 challenged. Which is the best to do? Let the city of Bardstown and the county work on it, or let Spectrum do it? They don't want to double dip and double bill over if they're using federal money. Just think about the days of no electricity in the rural parts of Kentucky and our country. And without that federal money, much of that would not have happened. Same principle involved. So they want to make sure they're getting the most out of their money, no duplication. Okay, which makes sense. Hey, Brad, is there anything else that we were going to talk to the court about? Do you remember? Seemed like there's one other thing I'm forgetting. Okay. Any old new business guys that you want to discuss?
Judge, I would like to recognize Joe. 2 years ago, you guys approved repeater towers, and it went to benefit the law enforcement agency, and our repeater overheated with this high temperatures that we were getting. They overheated at 150 degrees, and so we had to move them. Joe had to move it, and these are the little things that this man does for the county, and goes unrecognized because he does it on his time. And yesterday it was 7 or 8 o'clock at night when he texted us and said that the repeater had been moved. So I would like to thank Joe and recognize him for moving the repeater for us.
Thank you, Raymond. Yeah, Joe and Eva both do a lot that the public doesn't see. But thank you.
The repeater, you had to move it.
We installed the Coxas Creek Firehouse repeater. It's a 3-story facility. So we felt like putting it out of way, out of sight in the attic would be the best place to mount that cabinet. And it has fans that run in it. Well, one of the fans failed last Thursday, and that repeater went offline. So once it goes offline, I get a notification that there's a problem at the site. Went out and went up the 3 flights of stairs and found out that I broke out in a sweat as soon as I got the top steps. So we checked with the chief of Nelson County Fire Department, asked him if we can move it down into a controlled room, controlled environment room, and they were okay with that. So we spent the afternoon into last night getting that done and replacing the failed parts from the heat
Anything else, guys? Otherwise, entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion by Bernard Ice to adjourn. Is there a second to that?
I'll second.
Second by Eric. All approve, say aye. Aye. Disapprove? Motion will carry. Thank you all.